Yeah, it's quite a challenge because everything's been wrapped in certain classes and whatnot, so you can't just bring over that the old CSS immediately. You kind of have to get back in there and retweak everything. But it is coming along. It's coming along well. Slowly but surely on the theming end. We want to go to the next one.
So, which basically brings us already to the end of our presentation. And, we're looking at a launch date by the end of June. At this point, I would estimate it's hard to quantify that, but
yeah, I mean it's definitely coming along. If the 6 months prior to Stefan's arrival, us trying the initial just site upgrade path, it's leaps and bounds coming along. You can even ask Rich, or I don't know, the shots that he gets every once in a while, seeing us develop. It's coming along a lot better than it was, because originally the panels causes the problem. But the panel panes, when you try to do the direct site upgrade, it just becomes this mess, and now everything's starting to fall into place more elegantly. So
I affirm your assessment.
thank you.
So we are, as far as the raw data migration goes, we're pretty much done. Panel pages are, if you run our migration script, they all come alive, and so we're left with the nitty-gritty, which is the theming, and then a couple of workflow-related issues, search-related issues that we're trying to resolve over the next few weeks, and then it's going to be QA time for our web team. And then hopefully we'll push this out this summer. And that doesn't mean, of course, that's the end of the story. So as we went through this, we identified several other candidates for future, probably much smaller projects. But one of them is the site search that is less than stellar right now. So we're going to be looking into other solutions, perhaps something like a Lucene or Solr-based approach to, so that the content on our site can be discovered in a much, in a better fashion. That kind of plays in with SEO improvements. Mobile implementation is something we just started doing around as well. And then, of course, the upgrade to Drupal 7 and then future versions is already on the agenda as well. So Drupal 7, although we don't have a timeline yet, it's going to be something that we're going to be moving up to. I'll just say something like in the next couple of months, hopefully.
Yeah, very soon after we get it to 6, we'll be moving to 7. And it just makes sense to do that. I know that that's what some of the powers that be at the library would like as well. So so are there any questions? And if you guys also ever want to contact us about any Drupal questions, chances are we run into it at some point, or we've run into someone who has, but go ahead and ask away now if there's any.
So why did you decide to go from 5 to 6 instead of 5 to 7?
Well, we did decide to go to 5 to 7, and we were running into some problems with that direct upgrade path, and a lot of it had to do with the methods that we were using. Because when we started the project, 7 was not yet released, and it actually, as you may well know, got pushed out about, I guess, 6 months at the beginning, and then it ended up being like 6 or 7 months late. And so a lot of the tools that we wanted to use, we kept running into bugs in those tools that weren't yet fully developed for 7. And the first one that comes to mind is like the Drush site upgrade utility or function. And using that, well, that was originally, that was made to go from 6 to 7. The guys who wrote it were like, they have a comment in there that says, if you want to use this on Drupal 5, good luck, or something like that, So we tried to kind of port some of that stuff for 5, but we kept running into these problems. And so then the developer we had pre-Stefan, we kept trying to I'm sure we can upgrade it, but it just wasn't working smoothly, and we were like, the differences are a lot less between going from those incremented steps than they are in going from 1 to something as different as 7. And so that's when we made that decision, and it seems to be going well.
It is still a problem with Drupal 7, by the way. Well, Drupal 7 is, you know, the stable release right now. A lot of the contributed modules are still release candidates for the 7 version. So, although, you know, a lot of them, you go to the website and you read there's a pledge to have something stable up by the time Drupal 7 is released, which has been several months now. You go and you look, you know, 2 lines down, and you look at what there is no stable version. You just look down, there's a development version, release candidate 2, whatever. So I would say, you know, well, we decided to play it safe, go up to Drupal 6. Drupal 6 is very well documented, and just you know, tackle it one at a time.
If I could throw in one more piece of information about that. Ultimately, the day we made the decision to not go to 7 but to go to 6, I believe the key question that we asked ourselves that caused the decision we made was, how can we how long do we think it will take to be able to show our colleagues, or basically essentially our customers, to show them something in Drupal 6 that they can actually, you know, use. It can't release into production, but something they can actually see some improvements with. And at that time, I think this was around October, we decided that we could probably show them something. If we went 5 to 6, we could probably show them something in a matter of weeks. If we went 5 to 7, it was still a few months away. And their patience was understandably not as great as it was when we started the project. So is that your recollection as well?
Totally.
Okay.
So we've got a few other left for questions on the
What do you think is going to be the most troublesome part of moving from 6 to 7, the trickiest part?
Well, I think that we're given a chance to really like rethink through 7. Like, we weren't on the planning of, like, none of the 3 of us was on the planning or any of that for when the site was first going to 5. And so in doing these 2 steps, I think that the next thing for 7, even though we want a lot to be, you know, site upgrade, direct path, we might approach a lot of things a bit differently. But now that we have these things in place, I don't think it will be as difficult as going from 5 to 6 has been.
last question.
Do you have people who log in with accounts to this, right, editors and stuff? What are you using for access control models and stuff like that? How do you control what
Just
people see?
mostly the core, you know, roles, and then we use also admin role, and then we just basically refine the roles based on, you know, what we want them to be able to do, but just the core permissions model.
Thanks a lot, Jason. Hopefully we get some more time for questions. So, yeah, I just want to make sure we get